show of Iberian Wine Tours. Welcome to episode 3 of the Armchair Wine Traveller. I'm delighted to be in the heart of Castile in Rueda, the place where white wine is made amidst a sea of red. This is the harsh, wonderful landscape of Castile, right in the heart of what was called Old Castile, where Verdejo grows better than anywhere else in the world, and where a lovely white wine is made that reflects the landscape and the climate. This was the first place that people started to make Denominación de Origen wine after the transition to democracy in the mid-1970s. This was the place that the wine revolution started in Castile, the white before the red. And this is the place, José Pariente, where a woman, Victoria José Pariente, broke the mold for women winemakers in Spain by creating a wonderful label and a wonderful series of wines that have become globally renowned. It's also the place where her son and daughter, Ignacio and Martina, have created another revolution in making a wonderful, balanced red wine that is unlike any other wine that you'll find in Castile. A red wine made in Rueda. A curious story that we'll tell now in this episode, which we're calling The New Face of Old Castile. Ignacio, we're delighted to be here in José Pariente Bodega in Rueda. Would you like to tell us a little bit about how your mother started up the winery?
Yes, well, thank you very much. I'm very happy to have you here. José Pariente, we are a family winery. It was founded in 1998 by my mother, Victoria Pariente, and the name comes from my grandfather, José Pariente. My grandfather was a small grower and viticultor here in the town of Rueda, but he never really produced wines in a commercial way. He never labeled the bottle. He just produced for himself and for his friends. He had a small restaurant and he sold the wine there. Sadly, in 1997, he passed away and he left the vineyard in the hands of my grandmother, who didn't know what to do at the time with it. And my mother, she was a winemaker at the time, and she decided to use this vineyard and to start producing her own wine, to label it with the name of my grandfather as in his memory. And she started the project in 1998 with a very small production, 12,000 bottles. And well, since then, the wine became more and more popular, just by the word of mouth, so not a big marketing or advertisement from actions. And some years later, when the project was becoming a reality and we had a certain structure, my father, he dropped his job to join the winery as the manager. And several years later, after we finished studies, my sister and me, we also joined the winery. So we are today 100% family owned, but also 100% family managed winery. My sister and my mother are today the winemakers of the winery, and well, my father and me, we run all the business part.
So the women manage the wine and the men manage the money?
Exactly, yes.
This is Tierra de Verdejos. This is the world center of the production of Verdejo. You also make some Sauvignon Blanc. At the beginning, was your focus uniquely on Verdejo, or were you also thinking of Sauvignon Blanc, or your mother at the start?
Mm-hmm. Well, we started only with Verdejo, but very soon we produced Sauvignon Blanc as well. Sauvignon Blanc here was introduced 40 years ago. It adapted very well to the terroir, and today we can obtain and we produce very nice, very fresh and very interesting Sauvignon Blanc in the area. It's true that still a very small production compared to the Verdejo. We are talking about, in general terms of the area, 97% approximately is Verdejo, and just 3% is Sauvignon Blanc. But in our case, from the beginning, we decided that it was a grape that could give us a big potential in the wines. So we started producing Sauvignon Blanc in 2005, 7 years later. We don't blend them, we just produce monovarietals, but we are very, very happy and very enthusiastic with our Sauvignon Blanc as well.
You started, I think, your main focus was the flagship wine, the José Pariente Verdejo, which is a wine I love and a very versatile wine with food and to drink on its own. From that base, how did you evolve your production of Verdejo in José Pariente?
Yeah, we started with our flagship. It was the first wine we started producing in 1998. We were looking for a good example of what a Verdejo should be. Nice, fresh, fruity, but with a good structure and a good body. So since the beginning we have been working on this, and that was one of the key points in our winemaking philosophy. From then we have been researching and we have been experimenting in the winery with the Verdejo and with different materials. After the flagship, we started producing 100% Verdejo, but barrel fermented from old vines, and from then we kept making some experiments. We started to use the concrete eggs, and after some years, we released also 100% Verdejo, aged and fermented in concrete eggs with 12 months of aging period. And our last release is a single vineyard Verdejo from an incredible vineyard planted in 1910, very stony soil, so characteristic from the area, and with also 12 months in food, in Austrian food. So we have always been very involved with the Verdejo grape and with the potential of aging of this variety.
So if your mother was a pioneer in setting up the winery in homage to your grandfather, and you've evolved the different styles of Verdejo over the years with these different wines, perhaps you and your sister Martina have been more revolutionary in starting to make a red wine here in the middle of Rueda. How did that happen?
Well, when we joined the winery some years ago, we wanted not just to keep the project as it was, but also to contribute and to create something new and different. So we thought, okay, we are now located in one of the most rich regions in terms of diversity of grapes, and we decided, let's use this diversity to create something new. So for 2.5 years we drove in our spare time all over the Duero River, trying to find the most characteristic and old vineyards possible. Most of them were meant to be uprooted, or some others were almost abandoned. And after a very deep research, we managed to get 6 vineyards, very small vineyards, not more than 1 hectare each, and to vinify them. We spent 2 years recovering by handwork, and then we started to vinify and to blend this diversity. So we mainly use Tempranillo and Garnacha, but what we look is for wines that can show the characteristics and the potential of the soil of our area, but vinify in a subtle way, with finesse, with delicacy, and in a more fluid way.
So Castilian wines historically would be known for their intensity of flavour because of that dramatic landscape and difference between the nighttime and the daytime temperature, but not so much for blending and not so much for finesse. So in creating those wines, are you looking to reach a more open-minded, adventurous consumer than perhaps someone that would expect the typical Castilian wine? Is that something you were looking for when you created the winery?
Yes, well, in general we were looking to create a nice, singular and different project, to offer wines that are a bit different what has been traditionally produced here, avoiding a lot of wood, avoiding a lot of extraction, and making more drinkable red wines. well, from then, our aim is not only to catch new consumers, but also if we can seduce the more traditional consumers with a different style, we're open to it.
So at home, are you now, as a family, drinking more red wine or more white wine?
Well, I mean, traditionally we have been drinking always more white wine, but we drink all kind of wines. To be honest, we like to try. We like to buy wines from all over the world, to make blind tastings at home just for fun, and we drink any kind of wine. Doesn't matter, just depending on the occasion. If it's white, rosé, more in summer, or red wines. We like sparkling wines, champagne, cava. We love sherry style, so we like trying everything.
That sounds like a philosophy we can all adhere to and agree with.
Yeah.
It's been a very difficult time for everybody during the pandemic. How has it affected you as a business?
Well, it has been difficult in terms of mainly during the hard confinement, the lockdown of the economy. At least in Spain, we were completely closed for almost 3 weeks. All the restaurants, all the gastronomy closed, and well, we felt it. But it's true that since we open or reopen again, well, the recovery has been very fast. We are quite happy on how things have been recovering. Now we just hope we don't get back, so we and everything goes better from now on. And well, just being optimistic, trying to keep doing the best wines we can, and hoping that all this situation will get better worldwide.
And so one challenge that you have is your market and the demand and the fluctuation as a result of the pandemic. Another one is your production. So how is it looking for the harvest this year at the moment?
Well, the harvest 2020 looks like, I would say, by the book harvest. So it's fantastic quality. It looks like we're gonna have a great vintage. The climatologic condition has been perfect in each season of the year. We had a cold winter, a very rainy spring, and we're having at the moment a very hot summer and dry, which is well, here in our area what we need. And the grapes look incredible. The yields are increasing from last year's. So I would say, even if we had a very bad start of 2020, at least we're gonna have a very great vintage.
Has it been a problem, or is it a problem more generally, that people still have wine from previous years that they won't be able to sell before the vintage arrives?
Yeah, well, it's a challenge in general, I would say, for all the wine business, the wine sector. The demand slowed down in the beginning, the first half of 2020. That means that most of the wineries still have wine in their cellars, and they need to get rid of it in order to refill the deposits and the new barrels, right? So it's going to be, I think, quite a logistic challenge with the harvest 2020.
So the best thing that our viewers could do would be to drink as much as they can of old vintages to make way for the wonderful 2020 that's ahead.
Yes, of course. Wine is always a good option. I think it's part of our gastronomy, part of our culture, and it's a great way of creating memories, of sharing moments with family and friends, always with responsibility, of course, but I invite every viewer to keep consuming wine and to keep drinking the wines they like.
And I think in 2020 it's nice to create things that we can look forward to. So I particularly look forward to coming back here when we are able to taste the 2020 vintage. Look back on this interview and perhaps some difficult times for everyone in 2020, but with a happy smile to taste some white and some red wine from the wonderful winery. We look forward to that day.
Thank you, and we'll be very happy to receive you. You will be very welcome, and we'll keep doing what we know, which is making the best wines we can.
Perfect. So it's been a delight to be here. Your mother is a pioneer. You are a pioneering family. It's a wonderful situation. It's a wonderful place. We wish you every success in the future and any future pioneering project.
Thank you very much for coming. Thank you.
Thank you. Long-standing and traditional winery set up by your mother, Jose Pariente. We're going to try white wine. And this one is a wonderful expression of Verdejo with some unusual characteristics. Could you tell us what they are, Matthew?
Yes, we're going to taste our Jose Pariente Cuvée Especial. It's 100% Verdejo. It comes from two old vineyards, very sandy soil. And in this case, we ferment and we age for 12 months in concrete eggs, which will give us more creaminess and more gastronomic profile of wine.
Excellent.
It's tasty.
So Martina, the winemaker, what would you like our audience to know about this wine?
Well, for me the most important here is the unusual minerality of the wine, which is not very common in Verdejo's grape. Due to the soil of those vineyards, sandy soil, as he said, we obtain a lot of volume, a lot of creamy, but at the same time with a touch of the minerality. So we keep the freshness of the wine. In fact, it's a 2017 and it's really young. So this balance make that is a gastronomic wine, powerful wine, but with freshness and Atlantic profile.
So I think we can encourage all of the viewers, first of all, one day to come to this magnificent tasting room in Rueda, and second of all, to drink as much Jose Pariente and Prieto Pariente as they can until they're able to come here. We're delighted to be here. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Good luck with the harvest
very much.
and with the future. Cheers.
Cheers.